move on to Willie Tanui to talk about regulatory and risk assessment issues.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here this morning, and as my talk is being prepared, I wish to state here that, yes, I'm going to give you a short overview on regulatory considerations for GeneDrive. And most countries do develop their laws and regulations based on international agreements. And two important agreements here are important for GeneDrive. We have the Cartagena Protocol, which was a product of the CBD, which was adopted in the year 2000 but came into force in the year 2003. And that protocol has been used widely by various countries to develop their own biosafety laws. And it was recognized that the Cartagena Protocol did not include aspects of liability and redress, and therefore a supplementary protocol was developed, and it came into force this year in March 5th of 2018, and it's known as the Nagoya-Kuala Lumpur supplementary protocol. And the Cartagena Protocol is a governing tool for international based. It's supposed to enforce governing of transboundary movements of GMOs and concern mainly with the potential adverse effects on biodiversity or human health. And 171 countries so far have agreed to this instrument, including many African countries. And the Cartagena Protocol provides for designation of a focal point, and also the establishment of national biosafety agencies or authorities in this case to work on matters of GMOs and including GeneDrives. And the Article 17 of this document has provided for establishment of biosafety clearinghouse. This is an internet portal whereby countries do provide information about their approval processes and what they have approved in different countries. And the instrument also provides for transboundary movements and use of border measures, to prevent adverse effects from moving to different countries. And as you're aware, GeneDrive in this case are likely to be uncontrolled, and therefore matters of international considerations are also be put in place. And the document provides a recommendation that there should be a mechanism for regional harmonization, and authorities also be consulted before testing. And in the African continent, we have the NEPAD, the African Union, that is responsible for oversight in different countries in Africa, and therefore they have to be consulted and work with the team to support the regulatory development in the region. The role of WHO also has been discussed by my colleague. And in most countries, many countries now have developed their laws and they have experiences on GM plants. And so for GeneDrive, these are the same authorities that are going to play a role. And the regulation in this case will involve both biosafety and health regulators. The biosafety agencies will be expected to be the first point of regulatory contact, and therefore should be approached so that they can become familiarized with the technology and also to support the process. Health regulators also may come into consultation in later stages, and also the environmental regulators will also be important at later stages. So this is a first approach that you've been familiarized with, and safety is a very important consideration during every first process. And For laboratory studies, for first movement from laboratory to the field, the criteria will be recommended. Recommended would be that the gene drive will have no harm to human health than the wild mosquitoes, and also providing no harm to the ecosystem than the conventional vector control interventions. In terms of biosafety, the instrument basically strives to provide for maximum safety and approval, at all stages, and also providing for opportunities for reduction of adverse effects to humans, animal health, biodiversity, and social and socioeconomic considerations. You realize here that risk assessment is very important before any decision-making process is made. It is important to ask yourself, why are we doing this risk assessment? Who will be doing it? And risk assessment will also differ if you are dealing with a construct that is suppressing or causing replacement. For consideration for field testing, it's important to think in terms of monitoring for adverse effects, and also to determine what happens, after the trials ends. During implementation stages, the WHO pre-qualification process will be very important here. It's also important for the developer to do a cost-benefit analysis, and ensure good manufacturing and quality control procedures. Registration also will be very important from the regulatory standpoint. How is it done in your different countries? How do they do post-market surveillance? Issues of liability and redress, should be very important. Should the product require insurance? And so this may involve different actors as you move down the pathway. And I'll speak briefly about the regulatory gaps and challenges in Africa. I've mentioned here that most countries have developed their biosafety laws based on the Cartagena Protocol. And so far, as you can see several countries are yet to develop their own biosafety laws. Most of the region have yet to develop laws. A few countries have moved on to commercialization. That is Burkina Faso, Nigeria is also registering, Sudan, and Ethiopia. Other countries are also in the pipeline. But basically, most countries have experience of GM crops, and therefore, issues of gene drive will present new regulatory challenges to most of these organizations. And the good part is that many countries are now developing their guidelines and addressing their laws so that they can also provide regulation to gene drive. And therefore, there will be need to consider building frameworks and relationships in different countries to ensure transboundary movement. And NEPAD is doing a great job in this, in mobilizing people to move forward with the technology. So far, the NEPAD, as you have heard, is the regulatory arm of the African Union. It has been conducting several regional consultations. They have also established a high-level panel on gene drive, and recently the team developed a document that makes case for gene drives to be considered additional intervention to achieve African Union target by 2030. And lastly, efforts are currently being done in different countries to develop laws, guidelines, based on their limited experience on GM crops. And there's an African saying here that these are small efforts that are going on through the pathway document and other efforts that are being done. And if you think actually you are too small to make a difference, you haven't spent a night with a mosquito. I believe most of us have spent a night with mosquitoes. And it's possible. And as our departed leader mentioned before, we seek our inspirations from him. It's always possible when it seems impossible until it is done. Thank you very much for your attention.